Since childhood, and even through adulthood, we've been surrounded by stories. Books, movies, and now the internet can provide people with momentary escape from a reality that, at times, might be scary or depressing. But stories in and of themselves can also be a coping mechanism when it comes to handling adversity. Narratives like these are called healing fictions. Here, Dr. Joan Halifax shares a few of them and how they can impact clients and practitioners alike.
I think narrative and story are a really important part of how we hold our lives, how we hold our illnesses, how we hold our relationships, and also our projections around dying and death. So, for example, if you're a person who believes in reincarnation, I don't know if that's a fiction or a reality. I really can't say. But I can say that that the notion of reincarnation could inspire you to live a more virtuous life, and it could also be the ground where you would want to awaken at the moment of your death, so that you can either not be reincarnated, or you could choose an incarnation which could benefit more people. So that could be considered a narrative form or a healing fiction. The issue of going to heaven and hell is another, healing fiction that, really feeds our ethical lives in terms of, wanting to be of benefit to others. And then there are the personal narratives that individuals devise, which have to do with giving death meaning, giving pain meaning, giving suffering meaning, creating a context of greater depth and value to experiences which would otherwise seem very undignified and terrifying. And so, that is another kind of, if you will, healing fiction that allows an individual to hold a perspective and to share that perspective with the people who are taking care of them. I work a lot with clinicians, and one of the things that really moves me is when a clinician speaks to me about working with a patient who has an inspired perspective, where the individual is very appreciative of their presence, where instead of, the clinician saying, well, Mrs. So-and-so, how are you doing today? The first thing out of her mouth is, how are you doing today? And so on and so forth. So I think that these narratives really structure an individual's character. And that affects clinicians and psychologists, social workers, chaplains, physicians, nurses. This affects how we are received by our patients, affects how we are in terms of our work.
According to Dr. Halifax, healing fictions can shape practitioner-client relationships because they affect the way people approach and react to certain situations. When Dr. Halifax joins us for the next webinar in our Making Mindfulness Work series, she'll also share a 5-part technique practitioners can use to develop a deeper sense of compassion for their clients. And she'll talk about a grounding exercise that can activate the parasympathetic system to make people feel more secure. The webinar is free to watch when it's broadcast. Just click the link below to sign up.